Hey, Scott from Aristocop.com here.
And Seth from SethMarkwood.com.
Together, along with you, the three of us, we are Markwood Men's Breakfast Club. Welcome once again. Good morning, boy. Oh, wait. Welcome to day 18 of Tobacco Advent 2020. I change that every single time I say it, I think.
Good morning, Homer. How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I was noticing my McDonald's coffee had a label on it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They print the little label to tell you how they make your coffee.
Mm-hmm.
It's black coffee. Why do they stick a label on my black coffee? They just had to pull a little lever. If they even do that anymore.
I mean, did the label explain about the coffee that's black, though? I mean, did it explain that process or some other process?
I don't know.
Where's the label?
Just a number. I threw it in the fire pit.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe it was my order number or something, but you know.
Yeah, so you have no idea what was on this label that you're complaining about.
That's exactly right.
Okay, I thought
I just
that might
know
be...
that when I remove it, I don't like it because I'll grab it and the corners are always sticking out, and then it has a residue. It's the residue that bothers me as much as anything. Maybe I should tell them my order, and don't put a sticker on my cup, please.
Could try to do that, yeah, but then you might get the wrong cup.
Maybe a second cup.
Yeah. I went down a rabbit hole real hard the other day of watching some, I think 5 or 6 videos of Paul Akers being interviewed by some newish productivity lean manufacturing show, YouTube channel. And they interviewed him 5 different times for different things.
The lean burrito?
Oh, he talked about coffee. He talked about his coffee cup and how...
Oh, and the cruiser cap.
He talked about that, but he was giving an example of lean manufacturing and why it matters and the importance of eliminating waste. And he said, you go and grab a cup and you put the things in the thing and you get some water and you do this and that, and only once the lever is pulled and coffee is coming into the cup has value actually been added to the process. That until that point, you don't have a cup of coffee. Right? Until that point, you don't have the product that your customer has asked for. And so everything up to that point is an important part of the process, but there are probably points of waste. And so he was talking about that. Great videos. Went down the rabbit hole. It was a great rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. Scott and Seth, Merry Christmas. In close, I put in Eileen's Dream, a black Cavendish cigar leaf Virginia blend with flavoring of Irish cream and white chocolate truffles. I find this blend to satisfy my sweet tooth and break it out every now and then. It also gets plenty of compliments when I'm having a pipe with others around. I'm glad to be participating in Tobacco Advent this year. It's a great tradition. Thank you for putting it on even through this year. I hope you and your family have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I do have a holiday-related question. What is your favorite holiday dish to eat or cook, keto-friendly and non-keto-friendly? Your friend and neighbor, Austin. P.S. I have also included a shoulder patch from my place of work as a gift for the shop. So check this out. This is a City of Thomasville police patch.
Wow, look at the train on it. Cool.
That's awesome.
So Thomasville...
Thank you.
Thomasville is just a little bit southwest of High Point, North Carolina, and a train passes through. There's actually 2 tracks that pass through the middle of downtown. High Point was named High Point because it was the highest point between Washington, D.C. and Atlanta, and the train came through High Point, passed through Thomasville, and then they have a big repair area, what do they call that? Turntable down in Salisbury, North Carolina. So the Spencer, the repair depot is down there. So the trains played a really important role in the area development, as it did in a lot of places. But that's really cool.
That's super cool.
So can I put this on my shoulder and take people's dogs now?
Yeah, you need to get your fireman's smoking jacket. Put it on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I could do that. Thank you, Austin.
I was I took a concealed carry class over the weekend, and one of the things that the instructor talked about said he was cautioning against just opening your door for anybody, and he was talking about how this year there's been an increase in, it's not smash and grabs, but some phrase like that, where they'll some home invasion, where someone will just knock on the door, wait for you to open it just a crack, and they'll bust in and push through. And so, he was cautioning about that, and making sure to not just open your door for anybody. And we were talking about police officers, and police come and insist that you open your door or let them in. What should you do? And this guy is a retired state trooper and has done all sorts of military stuff, paramilitary stuff. And he was saying, I can get a patch. He said, I can get a patch, I can get a badge, I can get a uniform, I can get all these things on the internet. So just because I look like a police officer doesn't mean that I am. What should you do? And so if you don't know what to do, if someone, police officer is knocking on your door insisting that you open the door or let them in, you call 911. You tell them where you live and ask if there's been an officer dispatched to your location. They'll confirm that, and if they confirm it, his recommendation is to tell them to call you by your middle name. My middle name is Larry. Tell the officer to say that through the door, and it's just another confirmation that they're, as they're knocking, they say, Larry, please open up. Okay, it's legit. At that point, move on.
Larry?
Well, it's short for that. It's Lawrence.
We should call you Larry.
No, I'm all right.
Leroy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Leroy's better. So to the question, do you have a favorite holiday dish to eat or to cook, keto and non-keto? I know your non-keto answer.
Oh.
You gonna make it keto this year? You should.
Okay, hold on. My non-keto answer is taquitos.
That wouldn't have been it, actually.
Yeah,
but it's not yours to cook; it's to eat, I guess.
Yeah. So taquitos are they're a long process to make. They're basically rolled tacos, shredded beef. I have yet to make taquitos now that we've got the Instant Pot. I bet that would make it so much easier to get to the point where you're then rolling and frying them. But that's a non-keto food. I like smoking.
It could be made keto though with the right tortillas.
Yeah, I like smoking food. That's fun. It's fun when the time is over and everything came out right. That's when it's fun. It's not fun when people have waited an hour and a half beyond what you thought would be the ready time, and then it's not great. I've learned to finish it and wrap it up and stick it in the cooler and let it rest. Resting never hurts barbecue, and it's always better to be done than pulling it straight off of the smoker and immediately cutting into it and watching it bleed out and everything getting dried out.
Last year, my smoked turkey took about an extra hour and a half after when I was expecting to have it done. And because I was expecting to have it done an hour and a half earlier, it was about 2 hours after everyone else was expecting for it to be done, and that was not good. So there was a lot of pressure this year to try to hit a tighter doneness window, and thankfully was able to do it, and still had time for it to rest.
Well, and the frustrating thing too is if that happens, even if it's okay, even if everybody's so hungry and they eat it and it tastes good, it's smoky and delicious, there's no chance that your leftovers are going to be any good, because again, if you don't let it rest before you start cutting it up, it just bleeds out and all the moisture's gone. It's hard to reheat smoked meats anyway and not have them dry out. I always sous vide them to warm them up.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. Turkey for me is one that is high up there. I don't know that I would do it at Christmas time, but I do tend to do those around holidays. I mean, Thanksgiving, of course. I bought 3 extra turkeys this year while they were on sale after Thanksgiving to have throughout the year. And last year we wound up doing them like one around Easter, one just as a just because, hey, we want to cook a turkey. One, I don't know, like around the 4th of July or something. For me, it's just an excuse to spend the day out by the smoker and hang out and invite people over, and everyone then just, I don't know, there's something about cooking a whole turkey that makes everyone want to pitch in. So there's always way too much food, even if it's not a Thanksgiving meal. Just knowing that a whole turkey is going to be cooked, they feel like they have to have all the fixings, which doesn't bother me one bit.
So then the keto, which is ironic because it used to be kind of sort of a tradition that we would eat lasagna on Christmas. Your grandmother, my mother-in-law, would make lasagna. Years ago, she made it fresh, and then eventually it evolved into frozen. That was never as good. But I've had some really good homemade low-carb lasagna where you replace the noodles with sliced chicken breast. So you buy at the deli area, you have them sliced chicken breast to lasagna noodle thickness, and then that becomes a noodle. The last batch I made, and I made a really big batch of it because I would then dice it or cut it up into single servings and freeze them in freezer bags, or I'd vacuum seal them. And the last batch I made, I experimented and I thought, I wonder if you could use the chicken slices, the pre-packaged deli meats. You know, kind of how they have chipped beef and sliced ham and all that. Because if you do that, it's cheap, it's readily available. You don't have to stand at the deli counter and have them cut the meat. And it really, truly was about half the price for the meat. It was so bad. So bad. And I forced myself over the course of 2 months, once a week, to eat a chunk of that. And it completely, once I was done with it, it put me off of the lasagna. But
I mean, that stuff is like half saline, right?
Yeah, but
water.
the previous versions of it came out really good, and I'm just about at the point where I'm ready to do it again. But do it right. No sense in cheating on that one. I also made it one time with pepperoni slices. My sister makes a lasagna in a crock pot, and it has pepperoni slices in it, and that's really good. It was not good in this low carb pizza because there's so much meat.
Yeah.
Something about that pepperoni just permeated everything, and it wasn't as good as her
Non.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably it for me. How about you?
I mean, steak usually is the answer for me, and that's keto friendly and non-keto friendly. I'm always happy to eat a steak. Non-keto, I remember breakfast enchiladas being one, and that could be keto friendly as well. I remember, that being a big thing around Christmas in particular.
Christmas morning, yeah.
And so that probably would be the non-keto. And then also for us, we've talked many times, kind of a Christmas tradition is going out for Chinese. And so it's not a dish more than a meal, but yeah, so any of those for me. I mean, there's nothing particularly holiday about it, except that that's just a meal that I associate with.
So here's an ironic statement. I've had ribeye 3 nights in a row. The first night on whatever night it was, I had it at a diner, and it was a 12-ounce ribeye, and it was just okay. The next night, here's the ironic part, we had dinner at Austin's. Austin, have you been to Austin's? Austin's in High Point is this really old, very dark and dingy restaurant that feels like maybe it should have been a cigar bar. And they recently moved into a recently closed steakhouse, which was Liberty Steakhouse, Steak and Brewery. And so that's a real upgrade for them. And the other advantage of them moving into that location is it prevented someone else moving into that location that would have been a competitor of theirs.
So is that where you guys were? Were you
That's
at the
where
old
we were,
location?
and that was really good. That was their ribeye was 2 ounces larger and about $10 more than the ribeye from the night before. And so Jandy asked me, she said, so was it that much better? I said it was dramatically better. Cooked perfectly. It had, just not only was it the proper doneness, but the exterior was nice and brown and crispy. And then they had great seasoning on it, but it was an aged ribeye. So when you cut into this, it was plenty moist, but there was no bleeding out at all. And she's, so Jandy said,
you
so
keep
what's...
using that term. It's not blood.
No, it's heme.
It's not blood. Just in case you didn't know.
Juices. So anyway, she's like, so is it that much better? What makes it that much better? I said, okay, for example, this is an aged steak, and that steak last night was just beyond its sell date. So there's a difference between the two. And the one last night I made, I just sous vide it from the grocery store. That's pretty good too. Better than the first one. not as good as the one from Austin's.
You know, steak aging is something that I would love to have the fridge space to pursue. You know, I know that there's a lot of dry aging. It's a simple process to do, but to really do it right, I know most people spend 30 days or more doing dry aging. That means the steak is sitting in your fridge for 30 days. Moisture is evaporating from it, and so that means you've got to have that space for 30 days.
It takes more space than the steak. You got to have.
You've got to have
space
circulation around it. You know, most of them they're putting it on like a cookie sheet with a rack on top, and yeah, that whole thing. If I ever get a second fridge, that would definitely be a way to use it.
You see your steak aging fridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so how about you? We're not assuming that you're eating keto or low carb, but what would be your two dishes? Your favorite one that's in the category of it's probably better for you, and the one that is just your all-time favorite to make or to eat. Curious to know. Don't forget, video responses are going into a playlist, and from that playlist, somebody is going to win some variation of a Cobbett pipe.
What do you think of tobacco?
I like it.
Yeah, me too.
Where did you get this, Austin?
Eileen Stream. I feel like we
Well,
definitely had Eileen Stream.
It's a
before.
black Cavendish with cigar leaf.
Who makes that?
Irish cream and white chocolate truffles. I don't know who makes that.
I know we've had Eileen
Stream
before, but I don't know who makes it.
We'll find out.
Somebody tell me
if you know, leave a comment. All right, hey, make it a great day. We will see you again tomorrow.
See ya.